Seems the ANC's troubles just keep piling up. While ANC employees were picketing outside provincial offices today, a group of disgruntled members took to the headquarters, that's Luthuli House, in the Joburg CBD. They are unhappy about candidates being interviewed for mayoral positions in some of the party's branches. Our reporter Govan Whittles was there and is joining us now here in the studio. Good afternoon, Govan. Thank you for coming in. Just tell us, just take us through, what actually are these protests about? Because first we had this issue of salaries, that is still a pending issue, but then something else came into the picture.
Yeah, so what was scheduled for today is the picket by the ANC staff, who were essentially picketing over salaries, unpaid salaries and contributions to the retirement annuities. Instead, the organizer of that picket arrived at Luthuli House this morning, and he found at least 10 minibus taxis full of branch members of the ANC from the Ekurhuleni region, as well as the region in Mpumalanga, the Dipaliseng sub-region of the ANC. Those people are unhappy with the ward councillors that have been appointed, the fact that the provincial executive committees are continuing with interviews of mayoral candidates in big municipalities, and the fact that they don't believe their disputes will be attended to before a mayor is addressed. So, but then remember, the ANC said that if there were ANC members unhappy with the candidates, they won't hesitate to tell the ones that are in office to resign after the election and to call a by-election so that that issue can be addressed. Well, the ANC members are at Luthuli House and they want those by-elections as early as this week or next week.
So the issue now is bigger than just salaries. It's also in terms of the municipal elections, who's going to be a mayor and stuff. But one would have thought maybe the ANC has got processes inside. I mean, what did you hear from the people there on the ground?
Well, those people have petitioned the provincial list committees, and those would be the ones who decide which 3 names are then confirmed and sent to the National Executive Committee. There is an elaborate process of interviewing candidates, which is already underway this week. And within this mix of lobby groups, you'll find the ANC Youth League there as well, petitioning for 25% representation of the youth among the mayors in the country. But there is one controversial issue which has arisen here, and that's the one of Mzwandile Masina. Many of these branches are from the Ekurhuleni region, and they say that the 3 names forwarded to the provincial list committee are only men, and they believe that should have been 1 guy and at least 2 women, and that would have allowed for equity.
That would be in line with the party's policy anyway, in terms of gender parity.
And beyond that, they don't want Mzwandile Masina. They've been clear about that. They had posters up, and I spoke to 2 representatives of the branches who were there. Let's have a look at what they had to say.
That they've glitched the system, the processes of the ANC. Josie Duarte and the president have been clear that the processes of the ANC should be followed prior to the elections. They changed the list since before the elections. They've changed the list which were supposed to be the guidelines to who must lead the community, and the community at large is angry because of that.
Why here? Because the guidelines of the ANC were very clear with regards to candidates of mayorship. They said 2 males and 1 female, but with Ekurhuleni it was never happened like that. And again, we have quite a number of disputes which were never attended by the ANC. So now we're here pleading with our leadership to quickly and intervene, because as branches we are not satisfied where we are.
Okay, so you mentioned issue like in this mix, there's also the ANC Youth League. I assumed like Women's League of the ANC and the ANC Youth League ahead of elections, they would have made inputs about, you know, we want gender parity for candidates and we also want young people. But it looks like the process either was wrong or that was not done on time. What would be the issue now, raising it now outside Luthuli House?
Now they're trying to push for Luthuli House to not only to attend to the disputes about the candidates which were confirmed by the province, but to assure them that their disputes would be attended to with all the attention that it deserves, with the witness statements accompanying that, with the dispute letters accompanying that, read in line with the Constitution and the NEC decision saying, let's have 25%. So you would have had a huge lobby before the election for people to be on the list to take up those council and mayoral seats. But post the election, the decision still needs to be made. And now we're finding the strong men within the ANC determining which position goes to which person, and that's what these groups are trying to influence.
Okay, finally, thank you very much, Govan, for clarifying that. that. It's going to be interesting what happens, because the time is ticking for these municipality councils to have candidates and mayors and stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how the ANC resolve this one. Okay, salary issue. I mean, that's what we thought was going to be happening originally. What happens then? What do you know? What's the next thing there?
The ANC hasn't responded to the representatives of the ANC staff since they handed over that memorandum in July. That's what this picket was all about. They said that they haven't received any response, and they were there to up the pressure to make sure that the party does eventually get back to them. We understand that some are claiming that they've been paid their overdue salaries, but the bulk majority still say it's unpaid at the moment. And then there's the case that was opened by Carl Niehaus over the retirement annuity and those contributions. No feedback yet from the ANC or the police in terms of how far that case is.
Govan Whittles, thank you very much. Ooh, the ANC's got so many headaches to resolve. We'll have to watch and see how this one on salaries develops, and the other one on these candidates and these disputes around mayoral candidates. Thank you very much, Govan Whittles.